I'm back again. Had to go and find the right tool for the job. So, pair of multi-grips. Again, you want to lever it on two of those, and you literally just, in theory, it's stuck on, of course. Looks like it might have moved. There we go. Okay. There was a tool that Asko had that was easier, but they don't supply it, so you've got to find other ways of doing it. That's the lock ring. On the older dishwashers, these used to get a hairline crack along there. That's going back 20 years. And you'd get leaks into the base for F10, and people couldn't find where the leak was coming from. So that was a good one to get. All right, so now that we've done that, we want to separate the bottom spray tower from the sump. But of course, I'll just remove these two screws on this side while I've got the dishwasher here. Turn the dishwasher around. I'll just set it up on my leg for now. So we want to take the motor out. So get the camera down, there we go. Take the multi-plug off the motor. Again, just flick it to the left. And we want to take that clamp off. The easiest way is just with a screwdriver and lever. Like that. Now, down the front is a multi-plug on the element, which you can take off, and there's also an earth wire, which is off. So if you pull it back, it should come out with the heating element as well sometimes, which is there. Another very common fault for poor wash, or you just notice the water's just dribbling through the arms and the motor's working, but you can't figure it out. Very common because people don't put the filters in properly, is to get bits of debris, glad wrap, food, things like that stuck inside the heating element. So as long as you can see through it, it's fine. But very common for debris to get stuck in there, which restricts the flow of water into the motor to give you a poor wash. So always check for that if you do get that fault. Again, with the motor, another common fault is for this little circ pump hose to get a little hole in it. It's generally just in the fold. Again, you'll get the F10 fault, so that's a good one to check for as well if you do. Sometimes, depending where the hole is, if it squirts towards the element, you'll get the F10 fault followed by tripping the safety switch. Motors rarely play up. Common for the capacitors, which is a 2.5 microfarad. Just happens with age, probably anywhere up to the 10-year mark. You'll find that you'll put the dishwasher on, and instead of washing, it's just making a faint humming sound, or the motor's polling. On an Asko, easiest way to check to see if the capacitor's no good, because to be honest, I rarely used a multimeter doing this job. Screwdriver, back of the motor. So while it's humming, I just took the back panel off, stuck the screwdriver in there, and just flicked it by hand. If that made the motor work, I knew it was the capacitor. So very easy to diagnose. Alright. So, next I want to get rid of that spray diverter, which is this part here, which I've shown before in a previous video. Again, just going to get rid of the multi-plug. Like so. I want to get rid of these clips. There's a clip there. There's a clip on the back. I had a special little tool to get in there. All I had to do was take the motor out to get access to that. But because I'm stripping this, it's giving me a bit more room. So I'll just find a smaller screwdriver to get to the clip at the back. And then when I find it, I'll lever it, and it pops out. So another fault to do with an for the diverter is an F45 fault. So when you check your diagnostics, customer says one of the spray arms isn't turning or the top basket's dirty. first thing you do, check the diagnostics. If it says F45, it's the diverter. You don't need to replace the diverter, you need to remove the disc. So you take the diverter out, take the disc off, throw it out. That's fixed. You then put dishwashing liquid around the O-ring, up inside the sump, and you click the diverter back in. And that's it. That fixes the F45 fault. And then you set the dishwasher control unit to L15 like I've shown you before, because you have to do that to allow for the extra waters required to work that. And then both arms turn at the same time, you'll never have that fault again. In all those years, I never replaced a diverter. I always just took the disc out. So now I've got to take this white plastic ring off the bottom spray tower. Actually, I might do that later because I can't get to it at the moment. Alright, I'm thinking that base will separate from the dishwasher now. So let me turn it around. Alright, so I just want to remove these two screws at the front here, just holding the frame to the base still. I mean, normally you wouldn't do this in the field. I mean, this is just stripping it down so I can show you what it's all made up about. So you normally wouldn't go to this length of trouble. So once you've done that, I'm thinking the base will probably lift off. And as you can see, that's the guts of the dishwasher. So, somebody asked me about the pressure sensor, this thing here at the back. So, this can be to do with the F11 fault. People were doing cold to warm washes all the time, and they were getting sludge build up in the dishwashers, and this little air chamber down here was getting full of sludge, and it was blocking the airflow into that. So the fault you'll get is an F11. So the symptom will be that it'll pump the water out, and once it's empty of water, it'll keep pumping for 2 or 3 minutes and then just stop and say F11, but there's no water in the dishwasher. People still think they've got a blockage. So easiest way to check, stick your finger in there. You can feel it, there's no sludge in there, so that one's fine. But if the pressure sensor is faulty, again from the back of the dishwasher, you can replace it quite easily. But this is the newest sort of style ones. I didn't really have too much trouble with these ones. And if I ever did, it was pretty much on a brand new dishwasher, just faulty from the factory. That's the switch. That's it. Don't do anything like blow in there or anything like that because you'll damage it. On the older series ones, which will be red and black, and it's facing that way, never ever push on the back of the pressure sensor. It's got a bimetal strip in there. If you push on it too hard, you've damaged it. The dishwasher won't work, so don't ever do that. Alright, so the next thing we've got obviously is the drain pump. So let me move that. They're a bayonet fit, so normally you wouldn't see it like this, so it's a lot harder to get to normally. So you just do it from the back of the dishwasher, and you just turn it like that, and that's how the pump. Nothing wrong with that. I'm actually going to keep that because I've got an Asko, so if mine ever fails, I've got one. That is essentially the Asko dishwasher stripped down. There's really nothing else to show you. Obviously a drain hose. Actually I do need this drain hose because I've got another dishwasher that needs it. So I will take that off for my own purposes. See if I can get it out. It's a bit mucky. Actually an easy way to show you is that way. Right. You can see this little plastic tag here. So you need to get a small screwdriver in there. Again from the back. With a torch you'll see it. Just lever it up enough to pull the hose off. Like that. And that's the polystyrene float I was mentioning. So when it goes into an F10 fault, this actually lifts up. So when it lifts up, it hits the micro switch that was sitting there, gives you the F10 fault. Using the wrong detergent, as you can see all this stuff in the base here, that's caused from too much detergent. If that happens too often, it starts to eat into the polystyrene float and it makes it expand and nuisance tripping of the flood switch. So then you've got to replace that polystyrene float but that's when you would obviously separate the frame of the dishwasher to allow the sump to lift up to get in there to replace that. Bit of a nightmare job. You can do it in the house, but it's time consuming. On the current model now, they've changed that to a plastic one, so that shouldn't be so bad now. That is it. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you like the video, subscribe, and I'll try and get some washing machines and dryers and even some ovens possibly if I can. Thank you.